And now for his observations on this, we invite Mr. Vijay Sardana, who actually needs no introduction, but he's going to use all the breadth of his experience in the next 4 minutes. Thank you, sir. A round of applause for Mr. Sardana, please. Thank you.
Namaskar and good morning to all of you. Thanks to Chandrasekhar ji for elaborating many points. Let me highlight my thoughts on this very vital issue. When world was going through lockdown in the March 2 years ago, I wrote a piece of paper that world order will change. The reason was very obvious. We had witnessed last 30 years of globalization, which was characterized by easy flow of money, low inflation, low interest rate. Because of all this, there was a conducive business environment. Government were able to push their balance, or I will say to accommodate incoming capital. And a lot of policy reforms happened. During COVID, I always say that COVID lockdown was basically cleaning up of the froth from economy. All the hype was settled. And now what we are witnessing is important for us to understand. So what we are going to witness now is that what we observed in last 30 years of globalization, now we are going into a phase called deglobalization. Because today the capital flow is restricted. We have to appreciate that because of inflation, the interest rate is also going up. There is a disruption in supply chain. And during COVID, every country realized that national interest has become a priority. It was reinforced because of various shortages and various behavioral aspects of various political leadership around the world. But deglobalization, which led to the nationalization, is now also forcing us to relook into reglobalization, because we cannot have everything in-house. And this is what we have to look at it, and that is why you will find the growing significance of regional blocks and alignments like G20, BRICS, SCO, Quad over WTO. Now this is a clear message that how world is going to change. It means, so far in the last 30 years, everything was looked from a political, economic point of view. Now politics is going to take over the decision making instead of economics. And this is emerging very, very clearly when you look around the world. It means when things are changing, the prioritization is of domestic policy, it is no more accommodating global aspirations. Whether you look at India, whether you look at America, you look at China, look into any country, the political leadership is today talking about what is there for my country, let me address that first. And then if I have surplus or if I have an area of mutual understanding and cooperation, only those areas I am looking at globalization concepts. And that's why regional treaties are going to be more important than blanket globalization phenomenon. So we have to respect that dimension as well. So it means what? From a business community like us or those who are in trade capital, trade business. Today, we need more patience when it comes to investments. Because so far globalization was fueled by technology expansion, communication became much faster, movement of capital became much faster. But now you need more patience because the change in regulations will not be as swift from an accommodative point of view. But definitely there will be a lot of changes to keeping national priorities in mind. So that we have to factor in. It means we need long-term capital, we need more patience in business, because now you have seen that suddenly what is happening to venture capital and startups. One by one, all are fading out because of lack of cash flows. Now this is going to change a lot the way things are happening in the world market. And this will also lead to change in governance models. If you look at why things are changing so fast, because I also do the SPS and TBD advisory to Government of India. So far, more than 90,000 regulations have emerged since WTO, and every month things are changing very drastically. Let me give you a small flavor of what has happened in this one. There are a large number of agrochemical standards which are introduced and the existing chemicals were restricted. It means the database is not freely available around the world, even in regulatory environment, especially when it comes to technological aspect. Now that indirectly is going to create a lot of trade barriers. So if you have to protect your own economy, now cost of capital is one aspect, the non-tariff barrier is going to play a big role in coming days. Another area we have to look at is to address these issues. When the political is becoming so important, the focus has to be on three important aspects when it comes to collaboration, that is technological collaboration and innovative approaches. Because financial collaboration or financial requirement is there, but how and where countries or companies are going to collaborate unless there is a USP or a uniqueness to address the globalization or nationalization phenomenon. Now, because of Ukraine and Russia war, there is another important aspect we have to look at it. The additional cost of fuel in Europe is going to be $500 billion. And most of the European countries like even UK, their debt to GDP ratio is more than 100%. So playing around in the commodity market with surplus cash is shrinking. This is going to bring a lot of realignment into the system. This also opens up an opportunity for countries and the players, those who have a strong supply base, to have a strategic understanding with the potential importing partners. Because they are looking into long-term governance and strategic alignments. Port shopping will become difficult because of various political reasons. So what is important now in the whole approach? That commodity trade per se, when it comes to agriculture, I don't see much challenges if these are perishable commodities. We have seen the problem of Indonesia when they try to restrict the exports of agro commodities, because you will continue to have supply from the farms. You can't ask farmers to stop production. So what they will do? Definitely they will realignment. And we have noticed it. Time is short, otherwise I can go into commodity by commodity and country by country how the realignment is taking place. And which country is losing in exports and which country is gaining in imports. All data is available. One can obviously read it how things are changing. But today what is important is the alignment which has a national interest. And one of the classic examples we have to look at, and if you really want to see that how global political and global geopolitical environment will change in coming days, one sector you have to very carefully observe is developments in semiconductor area. Because technically in today's world it is becoming a commodity. Because no equipment, no machine is without semiconductor. But it has a technological edge, it has a control, it has a political say in this commodity trade. Because it is considered as strategic trade. And it can be controlled in factories, it can be controlled via technologies. And that is why in many areas, if you look at classically, the China versus US, India versus US, Russia versus Europe, whole lot of these things are entering into a domain where people are trying to control those assets, where they can have a control on the supply side either through technology or through regulations. And this is going to be a new world order, and that's why the partnerships between the countries and the players will be based on strategy, not just the cost. So this is what the new world order is going to be. It's going to be exciting, but there is an opportunity for the countries and companies, those who look at these dimensions, create some strategic value in their commodity trade. They can be winner, but simply going for port shopping, it may be little difficult, because that may be just a low margin consumption items may not have value or wealth making opportunity in that. So friends, we are entering into a very interesting time. As I said that we are moving into a globalization to deglobalization to nationalism and realignment into reglobalization. This journey is going to be exciting for the business leaders in the days to come. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Vijay, please carry on the stage. We invite Mr. Chandrasekhar. We've got something very unique for both of you, right in the center. We invite Atul Bhai also on the stage to hand over these unique mementos. Chandrasekhar sir, I invite you. Atul Bhai, I invite you on stage. And I want to all look at the screen because the screen is also here. Symbolically, you are going to get a memento from us. Atul Bhai, would you kindly hand over symbolically to Mr. Chandrasekhar first? It's there. Big round of applause. Thank you so much, Mr. Chandrasekhar. Thank you very, very much. Stay on the stage, we'll get a good picture. And to Mr. Sardana, Vijay Bhai. Yes, symbolically. Thank you. Get a good picture, please. Look at the camera.